Hello friends, and welcome to Storytime with Teacher Julian. Today's book, Abuela. It was written by Arthur Dorros and illustrated by Elisa Cleven. Abuela. Now, Abuela means grandma. So in English you say grandma, in Spanish we say abuela, but there's also other ways of saying it. You can say babushka, bubi, uma, nana, granny, Jeddah, halmoni, and zumu. Those are different ways of saying grandma. It all means the same. We all love our grandmothers, and that's how you say it. And this book is about a little girl. Her name is Rosalba, and she goes on an adventure with her abuela. All right, let's get started. As we read our story, we're going to use this little checklist. These are the words that I'm going to be expanding on. Flock, leaped, soared, harbor, and adventure. So as we go along and you see hear one of these words, we can mark it off of our list. Okay? We'll use this sign to keep track of our keywords. Pretty good, huh? All right, let's get started. Abuela. It says, to my grandmothers, mis abuelas, and Alex, A.D. For my nephews, Sam, Joey, Jacob, Andrew, Sean, Todd, Harry, and Scott, E.K. The author and the illustrator made dedications to their family and friends. Abuela takes me on the bus. We go all around the city. And you can see there's a bus stop sign right here. Let's keep an eye open for any signs that we see along the way. Abuela is my grandmother. She is my mother's mother. Abuela means grandma in Spanish. Abuela speaks mostly Spanish because that's what people spoke where she grew up before she came to this country. Abuela and I are always going places. Sitting on the bus. And you can see up here, there's more signs up here advertising things like where places to go and fruits to eat and a bottle of shampoo. Some more of these signs right here. Today we're going to the park. El parque es lindo, says Abuela. I know what she means. I think the park is beautiful too. Tantos pájaros, Abuela says, as a flock of birds surrounds us. So many birds. They're picking up the bread we brought. See how all the birds are flying around to where they're putting the bread down? Well, it's one of our words, flock. So all the birds flying around together of a certain kind, that's called a flock of birds. So we can mark that off of our list. Flock. What if they picked me up and carried me high above the park? What if I could fly? Abuela would wonder where I was. Swooping like a bird, I'd call to her. So, do you see Abuela with all the birds around her? The birds have flocked around her. There she is. That's right. You see all the birds? There she is flying. It looks different from this, from looking from the top down. Looks different, huh? Then she'd see me flying. Rosalba the bird. Rosalba el pájaro, she'd say. Bien, Abuela. Come, Abuela, I'd say. Sí, quiero volar. Abuela would reply as she leaped into the sky with her skirt flapping in the wind. There's Rosalba right here, and there's Abuela. And there's another one of our words. It says that she leaped into the sky. So leaping, there's leaped, the second one down, right there. Leaped means to jump, or to to jump across something or over something. So you can jump across maybe a creek, like some water, or a puddle, or you can leap up in the air. Basketball players leap up in the air to put the basket through the hoop. So that's what leaped means. And we'll mark that off too. There's leaped on our sign. We would fly all over the city. Mira, Abuela would say, pointing, and I'd look as we soared over parks, streets, dogs, and people. There's Rosalba, and there's Abuela. There's the bustling city below. And if you take a really close look, I see a sign right there. It shows the direction the car is going. And people have signs in front of their stores, like right there. Can you see any more signs? Take a look. Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot going on. So, it's another one of our words. Soared. So, there's soared. Soared means to fly without flapping your wings to make you go higher, or using an engine to fly. It's soaring is just like gliding along with the wings open. And if you saw Rosalba and Grandma, Abuelita, they had their arms out and they were soaring. So, soared. Another one off of our list. I'm getting pretty good at this, huh? See, look at how her arms are open, and Abuelita's arms. We'd wave to people waiting for the bus. Buenos dias, we'd say. Buenos dias, good morning, they'd call up to us. We'd fly over factories and trains. There they're flying over the people, and they're waving, saying Buenos dias, which means like hello, good day. And look, there's a sign right there. What sign do you think that's for? It's on the street. And what does that look like? You're right. It's a bus. They're at the bus stop, waiting for their transportation. And then here, the Abuelita and Rosalba is flying over the city, over the factory. Now, I see a sign right here. It's in fancy writing. And it says, sprinkles. I wonder what they make where it says sprinkles. What would you think? Sprinkles. Oh, I see another part of it. Sprinkles sugar. It's a sugar factory. And glide close to the sea. Cerca del mar, we say. We'd almost touch the tops of the waves. Abuela's skirt would be a sail, and she could race with the sailboats. I'll bet she'd win. Look how big Abuela's dress is. catch a lot of wind, and they would sail. We'd fly to where the ships are docked and watch people unload fruits from the lands where Abuela grew up. Mangoes, bananas, papayas, those are all Spanish words. So are rodeo, patio, and burro. Maybe we see a cousin of Abuela's hooking up boxes of fruit to a crane. We saw her cousin Daniel once unloading and loading the ships. Can you see where Abuela is and where Rosalba is? Look. Yeah, that's right. There's Abuela and there's Rosalba. And the crane is lifting up crates of oranges, perhaps mangoes, papayas. And I see a sign here. That one definitely says mangoes on it. And this sign says Sunnyside papayas. So they know what they're loading. We see past the boats in the harbor. We'd see the Statue of Liberty. Me gusta, Abuelita would say. Abuela really likes her. I do too. We would circle around Liberty's head and wave to the people visiting her. That would remind Abuela of when she first came to this country. When you visit the Statue of Liberty, you can go from the bottom upstairs all the way to the top, and then you can look out through her crown and see everything from that view. And this is another one of our words, harbor. Harbor. So a harbor is a place where boats and ships can go, and they're safe from big waves crashing into them. So it makes it like where they pull in, and that's where they can unload people and like the mangoes and all the fruit and everything. So that's a harbor. So let's check that off of our list. We got one more to go. We're doing great. Feels like we're along with them, right? Vamos al aeropuerto, she'd say. She'd take me to the airport where the planes that first brought her landed. Cuidado, Abuela would tell me. We'd have to be careful as we went for a short ride. Do you see where they are on the airplane? Yep, and there she is right there, and there's Abuela right there. It says on the plane here, hola, which means hello. And there they are at the airport, hitching a ride. Then we could fly to Tio Pablo's and Tia Elisa's store. Pablo is my uncle, my tio, and Elisa is my aunt, my tia. They'd be surprised when we flew in, but they'd offer us a cool limonada. Flying is hot work. Pero quiero volar más, Abuela would say. She wants to fly more. I want to fly more too. So, here they are, flying into the store. Rosalba, Abuela, and look, there's a sign over the store right here. It says, Pablo Elisa. That's the name of their store. And other signs are in the window all over, letting you know what they carry in the store. There they are. There's a sign for the fruit, magazines, different candies, and there's Rosalba drinking her limonada. We could fly to las nubes, the clouds. One looks like a cat, un gato. Let me see that. One looks like a bear, un oso. Can you see it? That's right. He's right there. And one looks like a chair, una silla. That's where they're sitting. Descansemos un momento, Abuela would say. She wants to rest for a moment. We would rest in our chair, and Abuela would hold me in her arms with the whole sky, our house, nuestra casa. We'd be high as airplanes, balloons and birds, and higher than the tall buildings downtown. But we'd fly there too, to look around. See all the buildings? They're taller than the buildings. We could find the building where my father works. Hola, Papa, I would say as I waved, and Abuela would do a flip for fun as we passed by the windows. All the buildings and all the people. Look at Abuelita. She's doing a flip right there. So silly. And there's Rosalba waving to her papi. What would you do if you were flying? Would you go to where your family is and wave to them? Sounds like fun. Mira, I hear Abuela say. Look, she's telling me. I do look, and we're back in the park. Remember, that's where they first started from. Back at the park. Look, there's some of their bird friends. We are walking by the lake. Abuela probably wants to go for a boat ride. Vamos a otra aventura, she says. She wants us to go for another adventure. That's just one thing I love about Abuela. She likes adventures. Just got finished flying, and now there's the water. Now, here's another one of our words. Adventure. So our word adventure, it could mean that you're going someplace where you've never been before. It's exciting. It's unknown. That would be an adventure. But you could have an adventure in your own backyard. Just discovering things that maybe you haven't seen before. Go on an adventure. There's our list of words. Abuela takes my hand. Vamos, she says. Let's go. Ready for another adventure. The end. That's it. That's the back of the book. You can see there's a blimp and some balloons and a plane. And there's a city down there. Abuela. So friends, Rosalba and Abuela, they got on the bus, they drove downtown, they went to the park, and they fed the birds. Sounds like something they might do quite often, spending time with her grandma. But then the adventure really started. They flew up in the air, they visited many different places. They went to the harbor, they saw all the boats unloading all the fruit. They went to the airport and they flew on the back part of the plane. They visited Rosalba's dad in the building where he worked. So many different things. They went all over the place. So I have a question for you now. Have you ever been going somewhere and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's go on an adventure somewhere. Let's go on a trip. Can you ever think about a time that maybe you went on an adventure with your family? Think about it and talk to your family about that adventure that you went on. It's nice to remember back, oh, remember when we were going to do this, and then we went, and then we wound up going to the ice cream place, and then after that we went to the park. So many different adventures. It's nice to remember them, and it's nice to have those adventures with your family or your friends. So think about it. Put your thinking cap on and think about the time that you went on an adventure, and then talk to somebody about it. All right? And remember what I said. Sometimes an adventure could be exploring something in your own backyard. So talk to somebody in your family and tell them if it's nice outside or if it's not too rainy or windy, you tell them, let's go on an adventure. Let's explore our backyard or let's explore the park. But make sure you tell somebody in your family, like a mom, a dad, and Abuela. Maybe they would like to go on an adventure with you. That would be exciting. All right, friends. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, I'm going to say adios. Goodbye.